Fox News Alert want to take you right to this House hearing, House Intel. This is the committee that's headed up by Adam Schiff. And Republicans, we are told, are about to tee off. This is Congressman Conaway from Texas. He just started. Drop in.
President Trump or anyone associated with the Trump campaign colluded, coordinated, or conspired with the Russian government. The minority views, which you submitted, were attached to our committee's findings, and yet your views did not provide any evidence to support the claim of collusion. On March 24, 2019, the special counsel delivered his findings to the government, to the special counsel's investigation did not find that the Trump campaign or anyone associated with conspired or coordinated with Russia in its efforts to influence the 2016 presidential election. Special Counsel Mueller's findings are consistent with those of this committee, as well as the public statements of various senators on the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence. Despite these findings, you continue to proclaim to the media that there is significant evidence of collusion. You further stated you will continue to investigate the counterintelligence issues. That is the president or people around him compromised in any way by hostile foreign power? Your willingness to continue to promote a demonstrably false narrative is alarming. The findings of the special counsel conclusively refute your past and present assertions and have exposed you as having abused your position to knowingly promote false information, having damaged the integrity of this committee and undermined the faith in the United States government and its institutions. Your actions, both past and present, are incompatible with your duty as chairman of this committee, which alone in the House of Representatives has the obligation and authority to provide effective oversight of the U.S. intelligence community. As such, we have no faith in your ability to discharge your duties in a manner consistent with your constitutional responsibility and urge your immediate resignation as chairman of the committee. Mr. Chairman, this letter is signed by all 9 members of the Republican side of the House, of the committee, and I ask unanimous consent to be entered into the record of today's hearing. I yield back.
Without objection, I'm going to turn to our witnesses who are the subject of the hearing today, but before I do, and as you have chosen, instead of addressing the hearing to simply attack me, consistent with the President's attacks, I do want to respond in this way. My colleagues may think it's okay that the Russians offered dirt on the Democratic candidate for president as part of what was described as the Russian government's effort to help the Trump campaign. You might think that's okay. My colleagues might think it's okay that when that was offered to the son of the president, who had a pivotal role in the campaign, that the president's son did not call the FBI. He did not adamantly refuse that foreign help. No, instead, that son said that he would love the help of the Russians. You might think it's okay that he took that meeting. You might think it's okay that Paul Manafort, the campaign chair, someone with great experience in running campaigns, also took that meeting. You might think it's okay that the president's son-in-law also took that meeting. You might think it's okay that they concealed it from the public. You might think it's okay that their only disappointment after that meeting was that the dirt they received on Hillary Clinton wasn't better. You might think that's okay. You might think it's okay that when it was discovered a year later that they lied about that meeting and said it was about adoptions. You might think it's okay that the president is reported to have helped dictate that lie. You might think that's okay. I don't. You might think it's okay that the campaign chairman of a presidential campaign would offer information about that campaign to a Russian oligarch in exchange for money or debt forgiveness. You might think that's okay. I don't. You might think it's okay that that campaign chairman offered polling data, campaign polling data to someone linked to Russian intelligence. I don't think that's okay. You might think it's okay that the president himself called on Russia to hack his opponent's emails if they were listening. You might think it's okay that later that day, in fact, the Russians attempted to hack a server affiliated with that campaign. I don't think that's okay. You might think that it's okay that the president's son-in-law sought to establish a secret back channel of communications with the Russians through a Russian diplomatic facility. I don't think that's okay. You might think it's okay that an associate of the president made direct contact with the GRU through Guccifer II and WikiLeaks and is considered a hostile intelligence agency. You might think that it's okay a senior campaign official was instructed to reach that associate and find out what that hostile intelligence agency had to say in terms of dirt on his opponent. You might think it's okay that the National Security Advisor designate secretly conferred with a Russian ambassador about undermining U.S. sanctions, and you might think it's okay he lied about it to the FBI. You might say that's all okay. You might say that's just what you need to do to win. But I don't think it's okay. I think it's immoral. I think it's unethical. I think it's unpatriotic. And yes, I think it's corrupt and evidence of collusion. Now, I have always said that the question of whether this amounts to proof of conspiracy was another matter. Whether the special counsel could prove beyond a reasonable doubt the proof of that crime would be up to the special counsel, and I would accept his decision, and I do. He's a good and honorable man, and he is a good prosecutor. But I do not think that conduct, criminal or not, is okay. And the day we do think that's okay is the day we will look back and say that is the day America lost its way. And I will tell you one more thing that is apropos of the hearing today. I don't think it's okay that during a presidential campaign, Mr. Trump sought the Kremlin's help to consummate a real estate deal in Moscow that would make him a fortune. According to the special counsel, hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't think it's okay that he concealed it from the public. I don't think it's okay that he advocated a new and more favorable policy towards the Russians, even as he was seeking the Russians' help, the Kremlin's help to make money. I don't think it's okay that his attorney lied to our committee. There's a different word for that than collusion, and it's called compromise. And that is the subject of our hearing today. Mr. Ambassador, you are recognized for your opening statement. I will not yield. Mr. Ambassador,
you gentlemen yield because you just made some things about all of us that I think we all should get the opportunity to respond to. If you're going to say we think, you ought to allow us to speak of what we think.
You can use your 5 minutes to speak. You attacked me in your opening statement, and
I have not had an opportunity to respond at all, especially to your statements of what we think, because no one over here thinks that. No one over here. I mean, you cannot speak for us. You cannot speak for us.
Ms. Turner, you're not recognized. Ambassador McFaul, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Ranking Member Nunes and everybody else that's here today. I want to start with some good news. The ideological struggle
This is very real. It is still very fresh. We are only 5 days removed from the findings of William Barr as to what he concluded based on the Mueller report that was released on Sunday afternoon. What the Republicans have just done in the House Intelligence Committee, all 9 Republican members have signed a letter demanding the immediate resignation of Adam Schiff, the chairman of this committee, from the committee chair position. This is something that Kellyanne Conway first talked about on Monday. Many other Republicans have joined that chorus day after day this week. The president even chiming in last night in that interview with Sean Hannity, expecting the same. He went so far as to say that Adam Schiff should resign from Congress. In turn, the Democratic committee chair from California said this is not okay, talked about the Trump Tower meeting, Russian adoption, the GRU, the Russia Intelligence Agency, Trump real estate deals, and then got back to what he calls the subject of today's meeting, and that is called compromise. When Republicans tried to interject, you saw what happened there. So we'll watch this hearing. We'll see which way it goes, but we know clearly where the Republicans are going in terms of their direction with Adam Schiff as the committee chair on Intel.
Former House Oversight Chairman, Committee Chairman, and Fox News contributor Trey Gowdy, good evening to you, sir. Good to see you this evening.
Yes, ma'am.
So what was your reaction to that? I mean, that's an ugly exchange. It's not the kind of thing that you see often on Capitol Hill. What do you think?
Well, the process is unprecedented. We had a lot of bad days the 8 years I was there. We never had a day where we all asked a chairman to step down. The substance is what really caught my attention, Martha. There's only one campaign that took negative information from Russia. There's only one campaign that actually paid for that information. Remember in the Barr letter, The summary that Barr sent, despite multiple opportunities, no evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. And yet Fusion GPS and the Clinton campaign was actually spending money to dig up Russian dirt on Trump. And for Adam I've never heard him address that. I've heard him talk about the Trump Tower meeting where nothing happened, but I've never, in fact, he went to court to keep us from finding out about Fusion GPS. So I think he'd be taken a little bit more seriously if every once in a while he acknowledged the only campaign that took information from Russia was the campaign he supported.
All right. So now to the report itself, which we're learning is over 300 pages. There's all kinds of estimates, but it's a lengthy report. When you look at other reports, the Starr report, it's sort of in line with what we have seen in the past, though. But a lot's being made of the size of this document. What do you think? Honestly,
I thought it was kind of short. The report.
Yeah, so did I. 2 years, 300 pages.
I'm reading Crime and Punishment right now. I wish it were only 300 pages. It's like 1,000 pages. I thought, given the amount of time, the witnesses they interviewed, the search warrants, the subpoenas, I expected something longer. Perhaps the collusion section is not that long, and then the what Russia did to us as a country is longer, but I expected it to be longer.
And what about the release of the report? Because, Jerome Nadler asked for it, the chairman of the committee. He wanted it by April 2nd. He said that was a hard deadline. He had about a 10-minute conversation with the Attorney General, Bill Barr, who said it may take longer than that. What about the time frame?
Yeah, I actually, Mueller and Barr, what the Democrats are asking Mueller and Barr to do is actually to break the law. They cannot disseminate grand jury material. They cannot disseminate classified information. Imagine how much sources and methods and otherwise classified information is in the Mueller report. If he did a good job, and I suspect he did, it is chock full of classified information. So you got to scrub it. You got to scrub the grand jury material. I'm in a really small group of people that actually doesn't think the report should be made public because the Department of Justice is a true false agency. You either indict or you do not indict. But you don't do oppo research and then turn it over to someone like Adam Schiff, which is all he wants. He just wants any kernel of negative information about President Trump so he can use it in 2020.
So you have talked about the fact that you would like to see some investigation. There are ongoing investigations into what happened on the other side of the equation, how this whole thing got started, how they had the FISA applications go through. Here is an exchange between you and the former CIA director, John Brennan, back in May of 2017 with regard to the Steele dossier. Watch.
Do you know whether any of the underlying allegations made in the Steele dossier were ever tested, probed, examined, cross-examined?
There were efforts made by the Bureau to try to understand whether or not any of the information in that was valid, but I don't have any firsthand knowledge of it.
Do you know if the Bureau ever relied on the Steele dossier as part of any court filings?
I have no awareness.
Looking back at that now, and also in light of John Brennan's voluminous statements that he was sure that there were indictments coming down. He said that as late as March 8th. And now he says that maybe he got bad information. What do you think?
Maybe. Maybe he put out bad information. Maybe he's the reason that the dossier was included in the intelligence community's assessment in late 2016, early 2017, that was ultimately leaked and spawned this. I mean, I had to be cryptic there because it was not publicly known that there was a FISA. Now the whole world knows there was a FISA, and what the whole world, I hope, will someday learn is the FBI had made no efforts to corroborate or vet the information even as late as December of 2017, well after it had been used in the FISA, and the FBI still had made no effort. So, Brennan's animosity towards the president is so manifest. So is Comey's right now. But to think that this guy was running an intelligence agency with the amount of animus he has towards President Trump is sobering.
Judge Napolitano was on earlier today, and he said this. Let's play it, and I'll get a quick response for you, and then we got to go.
I think that Congressman Schiff is correct. In that report will be evidence of the existence of a conspiracy. In that report will be evidence of obstruction of justice, interfering with an FBI investigation for a personal gain, but not enough evidence to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt.
You agree with that?
I don't know, and I hope Judge Napolitano also said, and the reason that law enforcement agencies don't release reports is for that very reason. If you're not going to charge them, I mean, imagine if every law enforcement agency said, look, we didn't have enough information to charge you, but we're going to go disseminate all the negative stuff we learn. We don't do that in this country. You're presumed innocent. If you want to remove that presumption of innocence, take them to court. Don't release a report.
Trey Gowdy, thank you very much, sir. Good to see you tonight.